At 5 o'clock, you'll please rise. My favorite part of the week. Somebody gets to sing up there. Excuse me. Advisor Bailey, do you mind leading us in the fight song today?
All right, 1, 2, you know what to do.
Fight, fight, tigers, fight. Thank you very much and welcome back. Advisor Bailey. We're very happy to see you. We will now move into the roll call. Attorney General report.
President Zabel,
Present.
Vice President Chester,
Present.
Treasurer Colford,
President.
Chief of Staff Ambush,
Present.
Director Ramos, President, Assistant Director Soto, President, Director Moody, President, Director Rodriguez, Director Dione, President, Director Johnstone,
Present.
Assistant Director Apple,
Present.
Director Clark, Director Eagle, Assistant Director Carr, President, Director Edwards,
President.
Assistant Director Cunningham, President, Director Aaliyah, Director Trepp, President, Director Daxton,
President.
Pro Temp Teddy, Senator Ring, President, Senator Sleen, President, Senator Evelyn, President, Senator Washington,
Present.
Senator Maddox,
Present.
Senator Hayes, President, Senator Mackey,
Present.
Chief Justice Furtado Olson,
Present.
Justice McNeil,
Present.
Justice Adenega,
Present.
Justice Steele,
Present.
Justice Sampson, President.
Okay. Thank you all very much. We will now move into approval of the minutes. Are there any amendments to last meeting's minutes? Hearing none. Are there any amendments to today's agenda? Also hearing none, we'll move into guest speakers. Today we do not have any guest speakers. So we'll move into public participation, student concerns. Are there any student concerns or public participation at this time? Okay. Hearing none. Oh, yes.
Hey guys, again, Julian McCauley, URG Vice President. You saw me like maybe a couple of weeks ago. I'm just here to give a quick little rundown on behalf of URG. I'm probably going to be right out too.
Oh, what time is the URG meeting?
I believe it is at 6.
Okay, you're on the agenda,
You are on the agenda. We should be able to get done communications by that point. However, if you would like to say your communications now, that is totally fine.
Oh, okay, never mind. That's perfectly fine.
no worries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any public participation, student concerns? Right. Hearing none, we will now move into communications. First up, we have advisors' remarks. One.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to keep this brief. It's great to be back. It's great to see so many friendly faces. Thank you to everyone that stopped by to say hello. Today is my second day back, so there's plenty of you I haven't officially met. So I'm looking forward to over the next couple of weeks before you go into your finals period. At least, you know, putting a face with a name. I have a roster, but I don't know everyone's face. So if you're around UU 251J, which is my specific office, just knock when the door is open, say hello, and we'll get to know each other a whole lot more as time goes on. So Good luck with everything. Hope you all have a great few days off next week, and I look forward to speaking with all of you again. That are you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Appropriations Committee. Thank you.
Hey guys, hope everyone's having a great day. So nothing new for the appropriations committee. We just had because we have so many bills, we just had a day for the senators to work on their bills. And with that, I will.
Thank you very much. Government Operations Committee, no reports. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Last week we had some technical difficulties, so the meeting kind of went a little slow, but we still got some work done. We reviewed the standing rules of order, but this time with the justice changes that they made. So we had Chief Justice Ursula Olson attend our meeting. And with that being said, we will kind of need a bit more time to review the standing rules of order, but with that being said, I yield. Thank you.
Thank you very much. President DeVoe.
Hello, everybody. I hope you all are having a wonderful Tiger Tuesday. Just a couple of things. I do have to leave early today at 6 p.m. for the alumni board meeting, which for some reason is in CQ, so I'll have to walk over there. But I'll try to be brief. I have a couple of say for anyone who helped with Tunos the first last week. Thank you. Shout out to you guys. You guys are phenomenal. And if you all want to, grab t-shirts, if we ever have like demonstrations like today, there was a walkout, which I'll talk about. Feel free to use those to show solidarity whenever you're showing up for your students. That was a really great event. Thank you all so much for coming out. Another thank you to Attorney General Kapoor for putting together this lovely student organization event calendar that you all will see very soon. Thank you so much for that. We really do want SGA representation and visibility at student organizations events, so look out for information more about that. Also, the Vice President of Student Affairs requests that the SGA submits 2 nominations for the student regent for the Board of Regents. So we will be putting out information about that, I believe, today. Yes, so that will go out today. So they'll have 2 weeks to put together their application. But it's really it's quite an honor to serve in that position. You would serve from June of 2024 and be the only voting student regent on the Board of Regents. So the FGA makes that recommendation. So that information will go out on our social media very soon. I also am sitting on the Hate Bias Coordinator Search Committee. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Mercedes Hightower, who was with us but left during COVID. So that is the role she previously was in. So that has begun since last Friday. Thank you all so much. If you came out to the women's basketball game last week, we won and double their points. We're so good. Anyway, so y'all come out to the women's basketball game. Also, the Towson volleyball team has semifinals this Friday at 4 p.m. and students can go free at CQ, either through the Game Day app or bringing your one card. So come out for that. And then lastly, thank you to anyone who showed up for the walkout at Center for the Arts today. It was really a really great time to show solidarity with Black students, but minority students in the Center for the Arts. And we have a meeting with the organizers upcoming to talk about their demands that they have for more inclusive practices in the Center for the Arts. So if you all are interested in that, please let me know. But that is, I believe, it for today. But with that, I yield. Any questions? Yeah.
Member of the week.
Member of the week. Thank you for reminding me. Of course. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I always forget to do that. So traditionally we start doing 2, so we'll do 2 this week. This member of the week, these are for last week. First is an assistant director who is doing a tremendous job balancing, work-life balance, but also being present for supporting her fellow members. She's just been absolutely phenomenal, really stepped up to the plate. I'm very, very proud of her and really pushed herself out of her comfort zone last week. So Assistant Director of Civic Engagement and Sustainability, Chloe Ashford. We love you. Thank you so much. And then also the next member is on exec, and she's been doing a tremendous job. So proud of her. She really keeps us afloat in and out of the office. I'm so proud of her. And that is Attorney General Kapoor.
Next up, Treasurer Jordan Colquitt. I know.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Tiger Tuesday. My main focus has been on budget hearing. We've had one successful session so far. Our next one's Thursday, 11 to 2, and then Friday, 9 to 5. We are looking for 2 SGA members for the 9 to 5 session. So if you are interested and available during that period, let me know. We prefer if you can stay for more than like an hour or 2, but just shoot me a message or email if you're interested, and we'll get that all worked out. Yeah, Friday, 9 to 5, so that's gonna be fun. Yeah, and with that, I yield.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Attorney General Kapoor.
Hi, everyone. Okay, happy Tuesday. Just a reminder to be bringing your binder to if you just want to store it in the SGA office, we have a cabinet. Name tags, if you have them, they are required at all DAs and SGA related events or events which you are attending on behalf of SGA. Today is a trial, so don't worry if you don't have them. But from now on, please make sure you're wearing them. Any questions about next week's office hours, please feel free to reach out to me or Chief of Staff Ambush as we'll be going over more specifics. And then, okay, this little flyer you all see, I know last week I talked about creating like a calendar. Each week, I'm going to create a calendar of events that are going on that we want just a little SGA representation at, or just events which I also think you all would find fun. So these are more broad events, but my goal is to also put like club meetings, org events, things like that, like more general events too. These are really specific. So if anyone has any events they want to give me from now on, please give them to me. My goal is to have them all like printed for each week by the Monday, and there will be extra too. So you all can grab some, but even if student orgs or other students come in, they can also grab some. And then, yeah, just a little reminder that dress code for GA is business professionals, so I should not be seeing any sneakers. And if you need any help with like what that means, I am also here for you for that. With that, I yield.
Thank you very much. Chief of Staff Ambush.
Hello, everyone. Happy Tiger Tuesday. Okay, couple things. One, so next week is Thanksgiving week, so yay. Good food and all that. So one, office hours are optional, as we all saw in the chat. So unless you have a pre-scheduled meeting, so if you already have a meeting scheduled for Monday, go to that. But otherwise, office hours are optional, and the office will only be open Monday and Tuesday, which aligns with the will be closed on Wednesday. So please keep that on your radar. Secondly, once we come back from Thanksgiving, I will be giving kind of directions on how transition materials are going to go. We're doing transition materials this year a bit differently than in previous years. It's going to be actually a lot easier for you all to do it. And I'll give simple directions. It's pretty easy. Basically, I just ask that you put like are your notes, all your flyers for your events, basically everything in like a folder, and I'll demonstrate how that looks like and how that's going to operate very soon. So that's good. This Thursday is our freshman council pre-meeting. So we get to meet all the freshman council. Like, I'm really excited, y'all. Period. Okay. There's been a lot of questions around winter retreat. Those details will come out after Thanksgiving. And I just want to congratulate all the SGA members who had really awesome events last week. And I hope that in the spring, we're going to have a lot more events. So I hope to see a lot more of you out at those events because they're really, really fun. And we should support our fellow SGA members. And with that, I yield.
Very much. Department of Academic Affairs.
Hello, I'll be giving Director Leo's report on behalf of him. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry Jordan W. and I aren't here for our General Assembly tonight. Last week was busy for Academic Affairs Department. On Monday, the University Curriculum Committee met and approved changes to the Asian Studies minor, allowing it to be more interdisciplinary and encompassing. Paige and I presented to the provost and college deans on Thursday in hopes of bringing awareness to grading inconsistencies across campus. The presentation aligned with the bill that will be presented tonight, allowing us to hit the ground running upon the Senate's approval. I hope you all have a great evening. And with that, he yields.
Thank you very much. Department of Campus Activities.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tamiola Simbo. I'm one of the programming chairs. And this week we are having a meeting. The first one is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be an IG Live on the CAB page. It's called To Be a Transfer 101. The meeting is going to be held with John A. Cummings of NSFP, and it's just about basically information for any transfer students, how to get more involved on campus, how to readjust and everything like that. Then we also have tomorrow our general member meetings entitled Winter Wonderland. We're going to be decorating snow globes and then talking about our upcoming Tiger Fest to see who you want. So again, come out. You know, you never know. Your favorite artist could come out to Tiger Fest. And then we also have on Friday a Catholics. Catholics is basically just movies that we present. We have snacks. This week we're going to be showing Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. We're going to be making scented candles, and we're also going to be making DIY picture fall frames. And then as well, CAD is also hiring 3 marketing chairs and then 1 multimedia specialist. So the SGA could also just repost our flyers and then also send out the word as well too. That would be really appreciated. And with that, I yield.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
President Devereaux, did you have a question?
It wasn't really a question, but just like if everyone isn't already following Housing Cab on social media, please do that. That would be awesome. So obviously we'll hear it in DA, but you'll also see the information on social media just in case you forget to write it down. So follow if you're not following already.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited for the snow globes as well as the picture frames. Not very artsy, but very excited, very excited. Okay, next up, we have Department of Civic Engagement.
Guys, so it's been a really busy week. To start off, I just want to say thank you to everyone who came out to the team. Tino's first one, is it on? Good, okay, great. Tino's first one really well. We had a lovely discussion, and personal shout out to everyone who helped out with the acting. Everyone did phenomenal. Didn't stop, didn't laugh. Stitch It also went great. We have plenty of usable masks still in the office. So if you would like to grab one, reduce your waist a little bit, please feel free. We also have plenty of Steven is the First shirts, as has been so stated. As Chief of Staff Ambush stated, it'd be great to see some more SGA members during our future events for the spring. It'll be even better, bigger, and more fun. Let's see. As well, we are also starting some marketing for transportation. So if you would like to help participate in that, or if you would like to just know more about that, please reach out to me. I'd love to answer some questions. We are currently brainstorming some ways to reduce our electricity and water use. So if anyone has any a bit more, the waste mismanagement issue, yes. After multiple emails back and forth, it seems like they're doing extra training. They did a session tonight, but if anyone sees any other issues, such as dumping compost into the trash bin or vice versa, please let me know and I will let them know again to see what else has to be done. Lastly, with the Hunger and Homelessness Week, please try to come and make yourself known at those events. A lot of them do intersect with civic engagement and sustainability. For example, the food waste program had a table where they were giving out some snacks while also sort of talking about what the food waste program does and how they can use it to help the hungry. So please go, try some stuff out. It's fun. It'll be nice. With that, I yield.
Thank you very much. Yes, after the team as the first, I was considering changing my major to acting. Don't worry, I didn't. Don't worry, I didn't. But I don't think they would like me there. Next up is the Department of Communications. Okay, we have the Department of Community Outreach.
Hello, everyone. First off, this week is, as you heard, Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week, so, there's that. I was gonna say happy, but I don't think that should be happy. So basically, the university is holding a lot of events, for that. Last night, they had the issues to action. So if you attended that, you will get a service hour for going. Also, they have their food waste tour, as Director Johnson mentioned. And then on the 19th, they have the TU Serve intersection change, which you will also get a service hour for. So if you attend any of those three. Speaking of service hours, as SGA members, you are required to do 3 service projects, 1 at Johnson, 1 in Baltimore County, and 1 at Maryland. And to do that, like, so I did it, you gotta sign up, be part of our organization, I'd involve that to you. Once you're part of the organization, you can just log it in and then I'll confirm it. For the members who do not do their service hours, there will be punishment. You'll probably get PDR and have a meeting. So let's not do that, because as of right now, there's about 30 PDRs that'll have to happen. So yeah, and with that, I yield.
Chief of Staff Damage. Hi, y'all. For those of you who do their 3 events, there will be a fun activities specifically for them only.
Evening service hall.
Senator In. Is there like a hard deadline or just by the end of the semester?
I have a semester, but I'm gonna make it a little bit earlier, so we have time to organize. I'll get back.
Okay, thank you.
Did anyone else have any questions? We're good.
Thank you very much. Department of Diversity and Inclusion.
Hello, everyone. This mic is so soft. Can y'all hear me fine? Okay, good. So I just want to thank everyone that came at NATU last week. It was a great event and I loved hearing everyone's presentation and everything. Mainly, I've just been planning a lot, mainly for next semester. Later this week, I am interviewing a potential representative for diversity student, for disability student, which is very exciting and I can't wait to meet them and everything. But yeah, not too much to report. So with that, I yield.
Next up, we have Department of Health and Wellness.
So, I have a few things to go over, so just for, like, if anyone doesn't know, commencement for spring in 2022 is gonna be outdoors. The quarantine spaces that we currently have, there's like 50 rooms, so we're planning on opening that up because for like the whole entire school year, we only had like at the most 5 of the rooms being used, so we're gonna try to have it good. Mental health week is still going on until the 19th. So please show us to some of the events. Some of them are online, like some of them are Instagram live and stuff. So please show us to my events still. And you get cute stickers. Werner has a magnet. They're cute. What's it called? I started planning it's on us for the spring. So if any of y'all are interested in that and interested in getting involved, please tell me. And we're gonna be talking about mental health in universities and colleges. So if anyone has any like input that you want me to talk about or anything, please let me know. I'll be meeting them on Sunday, so you have people there to tell me. The menstrual project is going great, y'all. Thank you for like telling people like we filled up the box and then I thought I'd like to speak to the health center and then it's filled up again. So thank you so much. On until the 19th, so if you have any, or if you have any friends that are willing to donate, please call them. But they're until the 19th. And there will be a de-stress day event with CSD, Counseling Center, Student Advisory Board, and a lot of other departments on campus, which is at the. So please tell people it's going to be on the 14th, which is Reading Day. And yeah, with that, I guess.
Thank you very much. Department of Higher Education.
Hi. Ooh, I was gonna say hi, friends. Hi, guys. I'm so sorry. Hi, guys. So not too much to report. I was able to sit on a panel this weekend, to like recruit potential teachers for the teacher shortage, and that was really, really good. And it looks like, Towson's gonna have a lot of, education majors coming in, so, woo. Yes, also, I have my meeting with the assistant dean of the College of Education, so if you have like any K through 12 or like higher ed, College of Education related concerns, just let me know, I'll report back to her, and then the Dean's Advisory Council for winter break, so, if you wanna have me, share some information with any of them, just let me know. And I think that's it. With that, I yield.
Thank you very much. Department of Legislative Affairs. Department of Special Projects.
Hi, everyone. Just really quick. So if you have any events before February 11th, we're having like not last week, but Valentine's Day events. Just let me know before the end of the school year. The due date is for December 11th. As well as I have a legislation coming up regarding RA concerns. So if you know any RAs that are like working on that, just let me know. And then last but not least, just a big shout out to Director Edwards. His birthday's on Friday, so.
Thank you very much. And happy early birthday, Director Edwards. All right, next up we have Department of Marketing.
Hey y'all, good afternoon. We have a distress event coming up December 3rd, so look out for that. There's gonna be marketing coming out, flyers, polls, Instagram stories, so just look out for that. I'm also gonna try to add more things to the group me, so you guys know what's going on. Also, National Diabetes Month is this November, November 29th. Please wear blue. As usual, marketing will be coming out for that. And there's actually a poll live right now on our Instagram, so please complete it when you get a chance, about lighting on campus. With that, I yield.
Department of Student Organizations.
Hi, everyone. So, I'm still in contact with the Glenn Dining Hall, like directors and Chartwells to further like push and implement my bill that just passed. If you have any like flyers or events you want promoted, please continue to send it to my assistant director. She's the one promoting all events. And there will be a town hall November 30th, and I have a meeting with Chris Brendosh tomorrow to plan and get that started. So.
Thank you very much. Chief Justice Hernando Olson.
Hi, for the town hall that's on the 30th, you know if there's gonna be a virtual component?
It's in person. I'll send it.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Department of New Student Development.
Hey guys, so, you guys may have noticed that the box out front of the SGA office, that is freshman council event. So what it basically is we're accepting donations to a place called Foster. So it's basically, different clothes and, stuff like that. There's a list up in the box. And also we post a flyer about that. So stay tuned to that. Please, donate, we're ending it on the 3rd, I believe. Our minister is here to speak to you a little more about that. Also, I spoke to you last week about the transfer council, our first constitution. I'm still trying to finish like the other foundational aspects of it. We'll get there. Also, Director Blue pointed it out. Turn up this weekend, there's a national holiday. All right, I'll see you. With that, I go.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up we have our Maryland Higher Education Council representative. Thank you. University residents, University residents government representative.
All right, hi everyone. My name is Julian McCauley, Vice President of West Village in URG. So I have a couple of things to run by. SGA first being an announcement. We have a Friendsgiving event coming up on Monday, the 22nd. That's going to be in 10 West from about 6 to 8:30. Free food for people still on campus by that time. It's just before Thanksgiving break, but hey, if you're still around, drop by, get a plate, do your thing. You can spend those meals somewhere else. in the way that's looking, that's definitely our last event before Thanksgiving break. The way it looks right now, that's our last event going into winter break, but that's definitely not gonna stick because we have a lot of things to get building council interest up, so we'll definitely be shoving in one more thing to do by the end of this year. And speaking of building councils, I held a building interest event with Lizzie, the RLC for Res Tower. We did a fun little tabling event where I had a box of prizes and everything, snacks. We asked some questions about campus and, you know, other resources for buildings like RA, stuff pertaining to RAs on calls and, you know, other questions that relate to our jurisdiction and that kind of thing, mainly to spark building council interest. And we'll be planning on implementing events like that throughout campus on the different residence halls, just to spark that interest in building council. And in those events, we'll see like forums like this about URG. I will send those through to Ms. Margaret over here. Because yeah, we'll definitely be dispersing those throughout all the residence halls just to get that interest going and everything. And mainly it's just because we want students to get involved, feel like they're comfortable on campus, feel like they're not going to be forced off like they were before and everything, and that they actually have a say in improvements to their buildings and the kinds of events that get put on and everything throughout the school semester. And lastly is more of a prelude to what we have planned in the spring. Our biggest thing is we're going to put a lot of manpower into a spring field day. Now, we don't have a specific proposal and everything set up yet, but before we go for winter break and everything, we'll have a executive board meeting where we have all those details ironed out. And we're going to definitely bring it to the SGA and the campus activities board, because we got to coordinate with them to make sure, you know, we don't step on any toes and everything. And the more assistance we can get from organizations like CAD would help us get that word out to the student body and everything, just because, you know, URG doesn't really have a name recognition like SGA, but you know, that's cool. So that's what we're looking for during this, towards the spring and everything. Like I said, be on the lookout for these flyers around campus, let residents know about, you know, forming building councils and everything like that. And lastly, I just wanted to ask if there were any questions from anyone in SGA about what we do or what we can do to help out with any upcoming bills or anything that would pertain to us.
President Devoe? It was just something super brief. Two things. One, can you send over like any information on how to apply for building council to us so we can put out some like marketing for that? I would love for us to like support you all in that effort. If you could send us information as soon as possible, and then, you know, on the timeline that our director can handle it, we'll put it out for you for sure. And then you all had the Family Feud event recently, right?
Yes.
Were you Steve Harvey, or am I making that up?
I was Steve Harvey. If you
Okay.
saw an individual rocking a fake mustache and a three-piece suit, then yes, that was I.
Love it. Thank you so much for coming. But yeah, that's all I have.
All right, no problem. Thank you. We'll get that information to you as soon as possible.
Thank you very much. Chief Justice Hurtado Olson,
Do we have a Greek life representative?
Chief of Staff Ambush.
We do not formally have a Greek life representative at the moment, but anyone is free to apply at sgs.edu. So yeah.
You're flying, I don't know. I was gonna make it official next week. I haven't done it yet. I was busy, I'm sorry.
And we also encourage all the councils to apply, to send in applications to get a diverse range of representatives. Each council was asked to, send in a nomination. Thank you very much. If you would like to make any announcements, we do have a portion after the legislative session. If anybody does have any specific concerns that they would like to share, that has not been addressed yet, I'll be left. Okay, thanks. So really quickly, I did want to give my report. I want you all to know we do only have 2 GAs and 2 potential special sessions after Thanksgiving break. If you would like a bill to get passed before the end of the semester, please communicate with me. I understand that everybody can get very overwhelmed, especially with the end of the semester, finals, projects. Trust me, I know there's so much going on. So if you get overwhelmed, if you are feeling worried about completing anything, regardless of whether you're in the Senate, whether you're a director, anything at all, please reach out to people in SGA. Please support one another. Be consistent with it. Be excited about it. It's really what kind of makes SGA what it is, and gives us that legislation that we really want to help support students and help support each other. Other than that, senators, please update the form that Pro Tem Teddy sent out just regarding the bill updates. We do have roughly 14 bills in progress right now, but senators, you guys are, again, doing great. Directors, you are doing phenomenal, as well as justices. I appreciate all of you that are putting effort into these bills. I did meet with the provost today, so we discussed kind of an easier exchange of bills and information that we can work on moving forward. That way we can utilize more of these shared governance throughout Towson University and really make sure that these bills do stick even after our administration is over. Other than that, basically just communicate, continue to talk to everybody. If you're missing budget hearing, if you're missing any meetings, if you are not able to attend, communication is key. You want to understand, trust me, I do understand. Again, life is crazy. We're all students first. Just please communicate with us. Give us the opportunity to talk to you about things, see how we can support you, and take care of yourself. Mental health is really, really important, and you should be putting yourself before anything else. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And with that, I yield. Oh, sorry. Also, I skipped one. Apologies. Freshman council representative.
So as Danny briefly mentioned, we're hosting a drive and we're collaborating with Paul's Place to donate clothes, especially winter clothes and hotel size toiletries and wipes that we can give to especially kids. And we're also plans for previews, so I look forward to that.
Very, very excited. Everybody better be ready for that preview. We are finally done with communication. We will now move into opinions of the court.
No report.
Okay, thank you very much. Give us 2 seconds while we switch over for the legislation.
Never gets any less awkward.
Yes, Representative Nancy. Okay. We'll now move into unfinished business. Are there any motions on the floor? Senator Rank.
I move to review resolution 17.
Is there a second? Senator Maddox.
I second that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Okay, if not, we'll now move into a vote to review resolution number 17. All those in favor? Opposed or abstaining? Great, with that the motion passes. And we're now reviewing resolution number 17, which was written by Senator Rank on behalf of Director Leo and Director Edwards. So if you guys, I don't know if there's a presentation here today. We're gonna proceed to take it away whenever you're ready.
So this legislation, resolution 17, is going to go to the grading scale bill. Basically going to Senator Ray and Director Leah Albany, hence the Juneteenth. That's what it is. But I'm gonna try to keep it short. It's a quick presentation, just highlighting the main points. And yeah. Oh, also, thank you to Director Clark. She's part of Juneteenth because she helped with the so just a quick snapshot. So according to Towson University, the academic catalog, this plus minus system wasn't actually until 1998. So the system's still fairly new. We should change it because it's not an accurate reflection of student performance. So Towson suspended the use of C minus grades, resulting in a percentage point, like people with a percentage point away, they receive a D plus, which means they jump a whole letter grade, which isn't like an accurate representation of what they actually know. So the solution that the Juneteenth came up with is to convert to assigning percentage points as the final cumulative grade and place a letter grade. So it's A minus, B plus, B minus. Instead, we'll just do the actual percentage of whatever you earned in the class. We think that this is the best way and most accurate representation of whatever you earn in your class because it's a more objective. It's a more objective solution because it allows professors to stop being incentivized to boost up your grade, and it allows the percentage points to be on your transcript so graduate school officials can see. Next one. So the student perspective, we conducted a poll thanks to Director Clark. So 60% of students who voted on the poll actually voted yes to implementing a percentage-based system. And then 65% of students who voted on the poll voted no to being satisfied with Towson's plus minus grading system. So it shows that like the amount of people who voted on the poll were dissatisfied with our current system. Two of those. Can you skip? So this is just a snapshot of what it's going to look like when we actually implement it if it's passed. So A will be 100% to a 90%. So mind you, we're getting rid of the minus. There will be no more B minus, no more B plus, no more C minus, no more C plus. It'll just be straight A, B, or C. So A would be 100% to a 90. A B would be 80% to a 89, and a C would be a 70% to a 79. So if you were to earn an 83 in a class, you would receive a 3.0 for your GPA instead of a 2.7. So a fun fact about this is if you were to just have all straight like 83s on your transcript right now, that would not be a 2.0, that would be a 2.7. So graduate admissions officers will be able to see that you earned an 83 on your transcript instead of just saying an A minus. So your GPA will be higher, but admission officers will still be able to see the grade you actually earned, which is a good segue into the next slide. So that's a great segue into our next slide, which is our main concerns. So the main concerns that I received from this bill when talking with you all and some people outside of SGA is that graduate admissions professionals will look down or discredit our students who have higher GPAs as a result of our system, since other universities across Maryland and across the world use a plus and minus system. But the reality is that graduate admissions professionals will be able to see the percentages that you earn regardless. So while your GPA will be higher because we will no longer have the minuses, they'll still be able to see the percentage that you got in the class. So because you will get if you earn an 83 in the class, for example, you will get a 3.0 instead of a 2.7. So obviously your GPA will be higher than students at other universities, but the graduate admission people will still be able to see that you earned 83. Does that make sense? Next one. So in conclusion, the percentage-based system not only helps the students, but it helps professors and graduate admissions officers. So it helps professors because it desensitizes students to go to the professor at the end of the semester asking, can you boost this? Can you boost my grade one or two more points so I can get a B instead of a B minus? And it takes the pressure, takes that bias away from professors saying, okay, I'll do this for Johnny, but I'm not going to do this for Bill. It makes it more equal for everybody else. And it makes it easier for graduate admissions officers to see the actual grade that you earn. That's it.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Is there any discussion? Okay, there's another presentation. Sorry, Director Leo wanted to include 3 more slides. Sorry. David, or Director Edwards, you should recognize these slides. They're really quick.
Actually recognize them?
Yeah, these are like different
still alive, that Dr. Leo said. So.
Okay, so, sure, I'll try to explain. So I think the sum of like the purpose of these two slides right here, just to show the discrepancy between what is an A and what's not an A, because it's different, across each profession. Like, it's up to the professor to decide what's gonna be an A in the class. There's no university-wide, like a 90 to a 93 is gonna be an A minus, a 94 to a 96 is gonna be a regular A, and a 97 to a 99 is gonna be an A plus. There's nothing in the university guidelines that allows for this. So each professor can make up their own thing. So in some classes, some classes an A can be, wasn't there another slide? Something? Yeah, this slide. So yeah, see in this class, a 94 to a 100 is an A, but in this class, a 93 to 100 is an A. So like it's not consistent across boards, which makes it harder for students to accomplish good grades. So yeah, I think it's just.
Okay. Slides and that presentation. Is there any discussion? Senator Maddox?
Hi, everybody. I'm just a little confused about, the last three slides were about a consistent grading scale, where the bill is about getting rid of the plus minus system. I'm in Director Leo's announcement section. It said that he was going to I can't remember where, but the board about changing the consistency. I'm just confused, like, are those three slides relevant to this discussion?
Senator Ring.
Hi, so I believe that this would accomplish not only changing the grading scale from a plus minus to a percentage point, but by doing that, like, we're automatically setting the parameters for a consistent grading scale. So like, I believe that this is relevant because the inconsistency of the grading scale changes whether you have an A, an A minus, a B plus. So it's sort of, they're wrapped into one issue. While it's not specifically like outlined in this bill, it's still kind of like accomplishing the same thing, if that makes sense. Does that answer the question? I don't know if I can make that clearer.
Director Paxton.
I have a few points of information. My first point of information was, in the fourth whereas, you guys mentioned Brown University and other institutions, how they have alternative grading policies. I was wondering, what are those grading policies, or are they the plus minus things?
Is there a moment?
So I'm not entirely sure what Brown University's actual system is, but I know it's different from what a plus minus system is. And to further answer your point, the last three slides that Director Leo wanted us to present, it just further invalidates the current plus minus system we have here, because it highlights the discrepancy between what is an A minus and what is an A across the board. It's not equal or fair in all classes. So those three slides, while it doesn't directly apply to the whereas or the solution that we're trying to accomplish here, it further invalidates our current system.
Thank you. Any more questions, concerns? Senator Eaglin?
I guess.
Yeah.
Was your question answered?
Yeah, I just have like 2 points of information.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, Senator Eaglin. I'll right back to you. You can proceed.
Okay, my other thing was, I was gonna mention the inconsistency, between the grading. So I'm so happy Director Leo brought those three slides, because I feel like it'd be more feasible and kind of make more sense, especially from the grad school perspective of still having the plus minus, but shouldn't fight or make a resolution to have a more consistent grading thing. So like a 91 is an A minus, 93 and above is an A plus, and then from 93 down to 89 is like an A minus. I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like that'd be better, because even from the point of the admissions, if they're just gonna look at it and apply their own GPA thing to it, it's like, well, what does it do, you know? So if it's like, there's a 1,000 GPA and then like, you're going to UMB and they don't do the plus minus, like, they'll see a 3.0, but once they like put it to their standard, it will still be a 2.7. So it's like, it looks good on paper, but does it, actually work? So. What is that?
Thank you, Senator Egan.
Yeah, I agree. I guess one thing is like looking at the words when we're talking about Brown University, like Brown can do that because they are an elite institution. So like, if there's just like a pass-fail grading system, like admission officers will be like, well, it's Brown, but Towson's not, I'm not trying to sound bad, but Towson's not at that level yet. And I think if they're trying to be at that level, that's probably why they're doing the plus minus grading system. So I think it might be better just to have more consistency, so people don't feel like, oh, well, I have a 93, I have an A minus in this class, but then I have an A in another class with a 93. So we need to probably look more at consistency than like having just the percentage, because I could just see that kind of backfiring. And also, like, we have to look, is this going to get passed in the academic senate? I could see a lot of like the academic senate being like, we're not going to pass this. That's, our goal is to like help the students. Yeah, with that, I will.
Director Johnstone.
Hi, sorry, I just have a small question. Was any research done into the university's future goals and how they sort of intertwine with this bill? Like, for instance, with like the research aspects of it, us trying to move to an R2 school, have you talked to anyone about whether this would incentivize that, or would this de-incentivize that? Or any of the programs that matter?
Have I talked to anybody about like how this impacts us trying to be RT?
Yeah, kind of.
No, I didn't really see a correlation.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, I believe Vice President Triskonsko has an answer to that, so.
So it's not included in the bill, but this bill was brought up as a topic to the provost in regards to the R2 school, and it was addressed that like some of the universities that do use the point system, they are typically very prestigious universities. So it was not shut down out of the question. However, in terms of if this would help support us getting to that R2 level, or if we would like to get to that level and then implement this grading scale type of thing. So unfortunately, there was not necessarily strict data to kind of support it, but there was kind of a brief passing of conversation.
Thank you.
Chief of Staff Ambush. Hi, so there's been a lot of talk about like inconsistency with grading, and I can see in like a math class where there's like correct and wrong answers. Like if you get a 93, like it's very clear 93, and it's like, oh, that's an A in one class, but an A minus in another. But like I'm a political science major and I write essays, and like I get 95s on some papers and 93s on others, and you can't really standardize that in the way that this bill wants it to be, because even if you get rid of the A minus, A plus, like I get like 95s for like spelling things wrong, and then I get 100% on another paper, even though everything's spelled wrong. So it's kind of like, I feel like if this bill was implemented, it would only really impact like STEM students, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly, but it's like, and I mean, like the grading on essays are already, like you can't objectify grading on essays because there is no objective, like the person reads the paper and then it's like, did you answer the question? But depending on which professor you ask, you answer the question in different ways.
Just to go off of that, I see what you're saying, because like, I don't think the goal of this is to standardize the way that teachers grade their work. It's to standardize the way like that grade affects your GPA. Because like you can't tell, like it's not changing the rubric of your class, but it's preventing like 441 and like 442 from having completely different grading policies about what constitutes an A and what constitutes an A minus.
when they're the same level of class, if that makes sense. Like, if the teacher's still a harsh grader, like, the teacher's still a harsh grader, but like a 91 in like your, like class A, that's a 400 level versus like a 91 in class B, like that shouldn't be two different grades in your, like two different GPA levels, if it's the same percentage grade you earned. I think like that's what the bill's trying to say, if that makes sense.
Chief Justice Artado Olson.
I just have a question about just whether or not this would create graduate students and how that would sort of work.
So this is just for undergraduate, because that's the main population that we serve as undergraduate SGA members. We could bring it up as a separate bill for graduate students, but I feel like it's a bit difficult for us to like make legislation that affects like graduate students as undergraduate students, because we don't know what might like accurately reflect their needs. But if that was a second bill that we would like to work on, like we can contact Graduate Student Association and see like if they would want something similar.
When you were saying that, like I'm a geography, my second major is geography, and half of my classes are mixed undergrad and grad, so a lot of them are like 421/621. And so if there's inconsistency in undergrad and like graduate students, how would that affect like my geography class, if that makes sense? Because then my grade would be different than a grad student's grade, even though we're taking the same class. And of course, the grad student has like always has like one extra assignment, like one extra project, or like an extra portion to their project, but like we are graded the same. Like the professor like you get so it'd be like, does that make sense?
So that's like one of the things, this would be another one of the bills that we would probably have to like make a task force to work with the provost and the academic senate, like they entertain this bill. But like, I don't personally take classes that do that, but I would assume since like it shows on your transcript as you taking it as an undergraduate class, that like you would be like, if you ended with the same percentage point as like a graduate student, you would just like get the percentage point and they would get whatever like the graduate GPA equivalent of it would be. And since like you mentioned, like they do have technically different requirements, I don't think it would be like totally unreasonable that you have different GPAs, but that is like a nuanced thing that we would have to talk to like specific college like deans about, because that's like very specific to like certain majors I know. So that's one of the things that like the passage of this bill, we would have to, as the SGA, like be very active in like how it would be implemented, because there are a bunch of nuances that are not covered in here. So just so a point to keep in mind. But.
Justice Yamson. I feel like there should be like, because as of right now, I think it was already mentioned that there's not like a concrete policy that determines like what grade you get. Like for instance, if you get a 93 in one class, if the professor wants to determine that it's an A-, they can. And then like if you get the same 93 in another class, the professor can give you like an A+. So I feel like there should be like a consistent like directions, like God, like if this is a 93, then that has to be like A- or like example. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay.
Assistant Director Apple.
So continuing on about the concrete grading, just putting my 2 cents in. Having the concrete grading system would, sorry, I'm tripping over my words, I apologize. If you look at the 7th whereas, percentages reflect a more detailed and objective report. If we continue with the I apologize. If we continue with the letter grade policy with a more concrete grading system, then we still have that detailed and objective report regarding student performances, just more standardized along all subjects, which then still incentive, that word, I can't say it, I apologize, that's robust academic achievement that the bill is claiming percentages would produce. And like having the detailed transcript, and then I apologize again, having the detailed grading system like on our transcripts would still have the benefits that Director Edwards said in his presentation for the graduate admission students. And it's just, and in regards to what Chief of Staff Ambush said about your English, or not English, political science papers, like English itself is a subjective language to begin with. And like you mentioned that you are getting like points off in some essays for punctuation or spelling errors, but I believe that would be an entirely different bill in itself. I don't know. So that part was just my 2 cents. Never mind then. But yeah.
I cannot. Steve.
So I just wanted to know if there was any research or discussions had with admissions officers, anything, just to kind of go over the implications of changing the system and what that would do for council graduates.
I believe Vice President Triscosko has a comment.
Thank you. So that was, again, kind of came up when we were discussing this bill with the provost. Specifically today, when I was talking to the provost about it, she mentioned how we would have to go through a lot of changes in terms of transcripts, syllabi. There would also be a change because even with the percentage point, it is still most likely that we would have to convert it to a 4.0 scale if people do want to move on to medical school, grad school, law school, those types of things. So there would be a lot of changes that would have to happen and have to be implemented. And as Senator Riggs mentioned before, if this bill was to pass through our Senate, in order for changes to actually be made to the grading scale, it would also have to pass the academic Senate, in which cases they would then talk about implementation and the exact necessary changes, as well as the timeline that it would take through that.
Did that answer your question? Trying to pull quick.
All right, thank you. I have 2 points, one of clarification and one information. A point was raised earlier about the undergraduate versus graduate grading scale, and I just wanted to know, like, based on our website, there already exists a different grading scale for graduate students, and we are the undergraduate SGA, so that wouldn't really be a problem, because even I know Chief of Staff Ambush did mention some classes might be mixed. They're already on a different grading scale anyways. And then my other point about the concrete grading scale, were you all saying, I think Apple may have noted it, or a couple of people have said it throughout the night, but are you saying that professors can give you an A- that you earned a letter, a number grade that's worthy of an A+? I don't think that really it's whoever can answer.
Director Ramos.
Hi, so for me, for instance, I'm taking organic chemistry, and literally how the grading system works is like 900 to 1,000. That would be like an A and A minus. And basically how my professor does it, he basically does it based off of like your work ethic or like participation. So for instance, if you have like, let's say like 940, he could say like, if you work really hard, he can give you that A, but if he thinks you're a little lackluster in the class, he can demote you to that A minus just cause. So for some classes, it can be very subjective when it comes to that system of like how it works, the difference between an A to an A minus, which is why I find it very inconsistent, because in certain cases it is very subjective depending on the professor and what they see as A worthy versus A minus worthy. So yeah.
thank you for that. I just wanted to clarify. I think this bill addresses a different issue than professors kind of like, I guess professors just have that power to do that. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I think this bill addresses a certain issue separate than that. But thank you for clarifying.
Thank you. Senator Eagle. Well, I do see why the bill would be necessary for people because I think as a society, we put a lot of emphasis on GPA. So I can see how people could feel like, oh, well, if I don't have a 4.0, I might not get this job that I want or this internship that I want. But I think it might be important to have maybe like some like graduate admissions officers come in and talk to us and see what they look like, what they look at for applying to grad school, like how much is GPA going to it, did they look at extracurriculars, other stuff, because with grad school too, because I'm applying to grad school right now, it's not just about your grades, but also your work experience, because this is your practical training. It's not like undergrad where you're taking a bunch of courses and stuff. So I think maybe we should look into that as an SGA. English. Yeah, I guess like overall, my concern is like as someone who, of course, this won't affect me, but as someone who's applying to graduate schools and many freshmen I know want to eventually go to grad school, I'm just concerned that if we adopt this, like, yes, Brown has, but Brown is a prestigious institution and your degree from Brown carries weight that Towson University's degree doesn't. And so my concern is if we do this, right, like let's say I apply to University of Maryland School of Public Policy, and then someone from UMBC applies to Maryland School of Public Policy, right? And then I have an A because the degree, I have a 92, like my GPA would be equivalent to a 92 average, but it's an A. But then if someone who has like an A at UMD, right? So now UMD, when they're looking at Towson, they know Towson, the way the A is set up is that the A is a wider view. And so I just have concerns overall whether that would impact like Towson University, like prestige when someone's applying to graduate school. And also like, I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather have a B+ on my transcript than an 87. I don't know, like to me that B+ just looks better than like an 87. And I actually don't want my percentage on my transcript because there are times where I'm like, an 85 versus a B, I'd rather just have a B and just look like that. But that's just my personal thing.
I do think that's like a very valid concern. Probably like the only thing that I could see being like taking this away from being like a beneficial change, because I think a lot of people now are looking into grad school more than the past. However, I do think that that judgment already occurs regardless of whether or not our grading scale is percentage based or like plus minus. So like if you are applying to the same program as like someone from Harvard, like there's already an implicit bias that like that degree has weight that like Towson's might not have, whether that's unfair or not. And I do think grad school applications are more holistic, like Senator Eaglin said. So like if you have your percentage grade there, but then you also have done like the work to back it up, like you've had an internship, you have research experience, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't think it would be as big of an impact as like it would be otherwise, because you still have the same percentage that you would have had already, and they have access to Towson's like grading policy. Like if they look on Towson's website, like they would know like what that would be if you have an A versus a 93. So I think it's a very valid concern, but I don't think it would be like make or break for, I would hope it wouldn't be make or break for a grad school admission, like looking at it from like a holistic perspective.
Justice identical.
Okay, I don't know. So, if we were to change this to a percentage point system, wouldn't this like reduce the competitive nature in classes between students? Like, what's the point of trying harder with someone that has an 80, get the same GPA percent as someone that has an 89? I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. It's not the same thing, but you get the same reward. So But if we change to a percentage point system, where would the competition come from?
More to address. Vice President Tristana.
I think that's a very valid concern. I think that it would place a lot of responsibility on students to get involved in the community. However, I think that it would be a little bit cautionary, because at that same time, if a student sees that they are going to have a 70.5, they might not want to go to that professor and say, oh, can you round me up like one single point type of thing? So there wouldn't really be, in my opinion, as much competition within classes. However, I'm also not sure what professors kind of attempt to implement competition in their grading scales for those different percentages.
Senator Celine.
So I also agree with Chief of Staff Ambush, because you also have to keep in mind that dental school, graduate school, they get like thousands of applications every time, and they're not gonna have time to just sit there and look at everybody. And so if they are skimming through applications and they see that your school isn't like seen as competitive, they might overlook your application. And also for students that work so hard for years, and applications cost a lot, so they might overlook your applications, and all those 4 years the student worked so hard for might not be addressed, right?
I'm just like to talk about the incentive part a little bit. One of the main points brought up in the PowerPoint was that this new grading scale would incentivize students to do better. I don't personally really agree. I don't know if there's like a survey done or a study or something that some university done where like they did the transition and it showed that students overall did better like, with their GPA or with their grades. However, I feel like it's a better incentive for me personally to see my grade jump from like a 2.7 to a 3.0 with like 2 percentage points. For me personally, that's very satisfying. I don't know, was there a survey studied or anything like that? I guess that's my question.
So, actually, so about the incentive on the last point, I think just as the delegate brought it up, the difference between an 82 and 89, that's a good point. But when creating the bill, it was more geared towards students who have like an 84, who would get a B minus, which would be a 2.7, compared to a student who gets an 85, which is in some classes a B, which they would get a 3.0. And the difference between the 84 and the 85 doesn't show more robust knowledge, or it doesn't show enough knowledge, in my opinion, like 1 point that you deserve a whole 0.3, like more points in your GPA, if that makes sense. Furthermore, like while we're like as I'm listening to the discussion and stuff like that, best if we come in and amendment to the bill, because right now we're not even really discussing like the bill itself. We're kind of just like discussing solutions and stuff like that. And while that's good that we are discussing solutions, I think that we can create like a task force. Director Leo like is it okay if I read that? Okay, so we can change the last therefore be a resolve to be it therefore resolved that the SBA formally requests the administration establish a university task force to consider solutions to grading inconsistencies across campus. So like right now, as like what we're doing right now, as we're talking about this, that we would get a task force that would include the graduate admissions people. Some of you guys mentioned that would be the includes in there would be people from the undergraduate community and people
Just for, sorry, were you on?
Yeah.
Okay, just for clarification purposes, was that a formal recommendation you made? Okay, thank you. Is there's, before we proceed with discussion, we have to accept in a second.
Okay, does anyone accept that recommendation? Senator Watchman, is there a second? Senator Salutin? Okay, is there any discussion? Senator Maddox?
I personally feel like this is completely changing the purpose of the bill, because this is supposed to, because the purpose of the bill is supposed to be a plus, this is supposed to be getting rid of the plus minus grading system, not not like not clarifying, but not creating consistency throughout the campus about the grading scale. That's my first point.
Chief Vice Andrews? I agree with Director Edwards that a lot of the conversation going on is about solutions. That solution should be tying a task force, which I agree should exist, to this bill, because I think some people may want the task force, but may not agree with this bill, if that makes sense. So I don't think the two should be necessarily tied together. Like, I think it would be more useful if there were like two separate bills, one for a task force and one on a more standard grading system, which is not what this bill is about. Vice President Wisconsin.
I just find difficulty with that recommendation, because if we are only changing the therefore be it resolved to reflect a specific committee formation or a specific task force formation, then none of the whereases really make any cohesive sense with the therefore be it resolved. Just because, for example, in line 44, it talks about percentages reflecting more detailed and objective reports on student performances and accurate grading scales that reflect direct achievements, which is a phenomenal whereas. However, there's not really anything within that whereas that can kind of directly tie it to the purpose of a committee. And that would also be completely changing this bill's intentions. So not only would you have to change the therefore be it resolved, but you would have to change the entire resolution concerning the change. Yes, it would either have to be a therefore further be it resolved in order to add that line about the committee. But at the moment, the current motion that was made was just to replace the line 52, therefore be it resolved section, which again, my personal opinion, but.
Director Edwards, did you have a rebuttal?
Okay, so the whereas is prior to the last, therefore be it resolved. While I can be saying, I think that the whereas is, they're just further to explain that the system that we have now doesn't work. So a system that does work. So the whereas before, where it talks about how the percentages are better than the A- or A+, we'll be creating a task force to see what is better than what we have now, because it doesn't work yet. Because that's all we're doing right now, as we discussed in the we're trying to find out the system that's better. So I just thought it would be better. And you said that we have to add a further.
Therefore be it further resolved. Because the concerning section of the bill and the therefore be resolved sections both have to match.
Okay, so, okay, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
Chief Justice Anton Olson. Director Clark. Granted.
I do want to just clarify really quick. It wasn't just that whereas that I was referring to. There are a few whereases in here, and all of them actually that are only referring to the therefore be it resolved in terms of changing from a plus minus grading scale to a percentage point grading scale. I think that it could be more beneficial instead of adding a task force onto this bill to have a task force bill in itself. I think that that could help to lay it out a little bit better, as opposed to just adding that idea onto this bill, as well as kind of give a little bit of time to talk to the graduate housing, or not graduate housing, excuse me, graduate students and kind of see if they are interested in this, if they're having issues with their grading scales, be able to talk to administration, things like that. Because again, if we were to pass this bill, and involve that section, we would also still be passing the plus minus grading scale if we added the therefore be a further result. I know we're still on the same topic of conversation with just amending the one, so.
Any further discussion on the recommendation that was made by Director Edwards? Justice Steve?
This one. I think maybe the recommendation could be changed to something like investigating the usefulness of a percentage system. And then I guess all the whereases would be relevant.
So I think that's a fine recommendation. However, we do have to finish discussion on this recommendation first, and then we can move into considering that topic and discussing.
Okay, any further discussion, comments, concerns about this specific recommendation? Okay, if not, we'll now move into a vote on the recommendation that was made by Director Edwards. All those in favor? Opposed? Or abstaining? Great. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. With that, the motion does not pass. And we can continue our discussions on the bill as a whole. Chief of Staff Ambush.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of build on the point that Senator Salim brought up about how like thousands of people apply and, you know, it's a very harsh process. Also, when you apply to graduate schools, you're not applying to the school, you apply to a program. And many program cohorts are only like 10 to 15 people. So you can imagine thousands of people are applying and they only accept 10. It's not like when you're applying to undergrad where they accept you as a student into the school. It's not necessarily they accept you as like a women's studies major or anything. So the competitiveness and the amount of time they spend on each graduate student is very different than for undergrad, which is I have for changing the grading system.
Thank you. And Director Johnstone?
Sorry, just go back to our last point. Can you just answer if you did do research on a survey or any sort of research about if this incentivizes students?
As previously, I know we did not do research to say to like prove scientifically if it incentivizes or not.
Okay,
And we
thank you.
formulated the bill, that's the kind of the conclusion we came to.
Thank you.
And also.
You may proceed.
Pardon?
You may proceed.
Oh, yeah. Also, I like the recommendation that Justice Still made about investigating the usefulness of the bill as a therefore be a law.
Okay, so is that a formal recommendation you're making?
I don't know, you guys can continue to like converse about it. I want to hear like the rest of the
Okay.
names of what I got something like that.
Okay, Assistant Director Apple.
So continuing along what Director Johnstone said, in the first whereas, like, the reason why Towson University implemented the plus minus system was to quote, motivate students to work harder, end quote. It's not that I don't see the use for this, for changing the grading system to a percentage, but for me, at least, I don't know if this is the same for other students, but just getting the highest letter grade for me is enough motivation for itself. So wouldn't that be similar to getting the highest percentage? Like, I believe they're in the same like umbrella family. So like, I don't understand why the change is like, we're so dependent on the change to happen when like the motivation itself is just to get the highest grade. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
Was that a comment, question? Would you like?
Why could you repeat what you
I
said?
was just wondering if that was a formal question.
That was just like a comment
Okay.
in general. I apologize.
Okay, no, you're good. Thank you for that. Senator Maddox.
Hey, everybody. So I don't think that tacking on more points to this bill would be beneficial at all. I don't think that those points, I don't think that making those points contingent on this bill passing would be good. I feel like there's a lot of great ideas and there's a lot of really good things that we could do, but I feel like those would be more beneficial in a new bill, a new resolution.
Justice. Steele.
So I think the point that was made was that if we use a percentage system, your GPA would go up if you have a lower grade. That kind of seems like students won't work as hard because they don't have to put in the work to get those extra 2 or 3 points to kind of get up to that. I think that's like the threshold for those particular GPA. Not makes it work harder. And then additionally, it says that towns have implemented the kind of system to stand out and appear academically elite. So that might also be going against the whole purpose of switching to the class.
Senator Salim. Okay, with that, we're gonna proceed into a vote on the bill as a whole. All those in favor?
You want to point out?
Yeah, isn't call the question require a second?
Not for, it's only calls for a second if it is made by somebody that is recommending a call question. So if a senator calls the question, then it has to proceed directly to the vote. However, we take a pause to confirm that with the second.
Sure. Quickly confirm that, we'll proceed. Chief Justice Bertolo Olson.
Yeah, in Article 5, Section 4, subsection D of the standing rules of order, it says once there's been a motion to call the question and it has been seconded, debate and or discussion must immediately end.
Thank you.
Okay, so
So it does not get voted on. it just happens.
second, okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll take back. So Senator Salim, you called the question. Is there a second? Senator England? Okay, that being said, we'll now proceed into a vote on resolution number 17 as a whole. All those in favor? Opposed? Or abstaining? With that, the bill fails. And I believe that is the only thing on our agenda today. There's no new business for today, so we'll move into announcements. The announcement, Chief of Staff English. Okay. Even with the bill failing, if they brought sufficient research and evidence, could there be a motion to reconsider later on down the line? Vice President Triscosky.
So in terms of motions to reconsider, and Chief Justice Hurtado Olson, I'm not sure if you still have the standing rules of order up. If you do not mind double checking those. But I believe that we can motion to reconsider if Senate rules are not enforced properly, or if there was some type of issue in terms of the voting for the bill. So I believe that it would have to be reintroduced as a separate bill, which can be discussed in terms of if there are any additions from today's year that would like to be added, anything along those lines. It can be reintroduced, but it would have to be a separate bill.
And anyone, please correct me if I'm.
Any further comments on that question? Okay. We'll proceed with our announcements. Vice President Trustman.
I just want to say thank you all for the conversations today. I don't want anybody ever to feel bad or upset if a bill does not pass. Or even if a bill does pass and you aren't particularly for it. I encourage you all to continue to engage in these conversations, continue to engage in the bill writing process. That way we can get legislation on the floor that we can have these conversations about. I think there was a lot of amazing feedback today. And you all are absolutely phenomenal for participating in it and being present for it. So thank you, and please keep that in mind as we move through our entire year. Legislation is legislation. We're here to debate, to discuss. We wouldn't have these debates, we wouldn't have these discussions if we didn't care about students. So just continue doing what you're doing. You all are doing a phenomenal job, and I appreciate you all.
I'm sorry. Attorney General report.
This is really quick, but just make sure all weekly reports are due Thursday before pre-meeting. I'm gonna stop making this announcement by this time. You guys should already know that weekly reports are due Thursdays at 5, so just know every week that you have SGA, weekly reports are due at 5, before pre-meeting.
If we do complete office hours,
Next week, do we do a weekly report? I think.
Do it by the end of the Tuesday, or even on Wednesday, I'll take it, but do it before Thursday. I'm not looking at anything on Thanksgiving.
any more announcements?
Okay, if not, we'll now move, well, are there any motions on the floor? Did you have an announcement? I'm so sorry. Did you have an announcement? No?
I mean, I'm just here I was just listening.
Okay.
I can make an announcement.
Yes, if you don't mind introducing yourself to us.
Hi, I'm Sean McGuire. Just kind of looking up the bill, kind of curious. But I can make an announcement. How recruitment? We are looking for the Paneling Association. Looking to, if you have any girls that are interested in joining a sorority, they're over, there's actually a fitness assistant over there right after this. So if you want to go meet them, you can talk to them, talk about like sorority recruitment, all that fun stuff. I really don't know that much because I'm in training. But basically, yeah, please talk to them if you're interested. We're looking for, a lot of girls that can rush course and all that fun stuff. Other than that, I'll leave it.
Thank you so much for that. Any more last minute announcements? Okay, if not, are there any motions on the floor? Senator Maddox? Is there a second? Senator Washington Miller? Okay, is there any discussion? If not, we'll now move to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed?